our reunion. But she had other plans, an appointment with an archaeologist to do with a Mayan stone she came across while researching a story. The guy who answered the door didn't look like a psychologist.
Oh man, spider. Again, not again. I've never said this before. Don't really have a sense of urgency here because I clearly can't step on the spider, and the spider's not advancing past this point. I could go make a cup of coffee right now. I could go outside mow my lawn, and this character's gonna still be here. It's weird that he can't step on a spider, especially one that big. As far as like moving crazy slow too.
I glanced over the books, vaguely hoping to find a copy of How to Deal with Poisonous Spiders While Tied to a Chair. No such luck. But I noticed one corner of the bookcase was supported by a loose block of wood.
So that's how you
Maybe
kill a
I'd been
spider
little
with the
heavy-handed,
bookcase.
but it was a question of survival. Of course, I was still tied to a chair in a burning house with no means of escape.
What does he mean by heavy-handed? Maybe I was a little heavy-handed by killing the spider. Heavy-handed. Heavy-handed. What could that possibly mean? I mean, it means harsh, extreme maybe, because he squashed the spider with the bookcase, but still, heavy-handed. How does heavy-handed translate into that? Heavy hand. Your hand's heavy. That'd make it really difficult to use it to do anything harsh or rash. What an absurd saying. Now,
With one mighty bound, our hero was free. Now, I had to deal with that fire.
the grin on his face, despite his circumstance, is kind of weird. I mean, he's kind of got a goofy, like, let's have some fun today grin, but my first impression of this game, well, this isn't the first game of this series I played. I played the first one. Obviously, it was entertaining enough for me to justify purchasing the second one. But what I like, the most impressive thing about it, and different from most other games that I played, is how the character interacts with the objects. In most other games, specifically look at this object. In most other games, the object's kind of this stiff thing, and then when the character picks it up, it just kind of magnetates to his hand, and then he puts it away, and you barely ever see a character actually interact with objects. On the like, for example, there's this game called Deponia, and the character in that game, when he uses an object, you never actually see him hold it. He just kind of gives it to another character, and that character's and then it just some text box appears and says you gave this to someone. But look how he interacts with this object. You can see his finger like
There was no pressure in the
hold
cipher.
that thing down.
I guess it was out of gas.
You can see him shake it. It's just much more. I just enjoy it, and I know that the objects that you can interact with are on a different scale or just are produced differently than the background objects because they look different. And so I'm really curious what the hell is actually going on. I know that the background that you cannot interact with is probably just a pre-rendered, whatever. I don't even know what that word pre-rendered means, but just something that has been completely produced, has nothing else to it, and they just slap it on the background, and these objects are placed here. But I still have no idea how where they know how they decide that this box is here, this bag is here, this thing is here. You know, I don't know how they do that yet. I have no clue. But I like it. I like the object interaction. It's much more visceral in this game than other games. Like the bag, kind of like there's like a separate animation for each object and how the character interacts with it. The paper will flip and flap. This bag will kind of sag low. You can kind of see how it's bottom heavy.
Must have really changed while I was away.
I really enjoy it. It's really interesting. Here is another awesome object interaction animation. Look how he takes apart this spray bottle, the seltzer bottle. That's so cool.
A faint hiss as the valve opened.
Look how it interacts with his face, the water.
What?
And then he kind of blew a little away with his bottom lip. It's like that's just so awesome. But then this fire goes away way too quick. Fire has never been realistic in anything. It always just disappears much too quick.
With a well-aimed squirt of the soda fountain, our unshakable
It's like
hero
fire
saves
just
the day.
receives
Now
the
it
least
was time
amount
to
of
start looking
attention
for
in
Nico.
any game. Here's another time when the object interaction is just awesome. Look how the paper kind of flips and flaps as he picks it up. It's flat right now.
I'd found a piece of newspaper folded in two. It referred to a forthcoming eclipse of the sun.
I really like
Unfortunately,
that.
It wouldn't be visible from Europe. The best place to view the eclipse would be
It's almost like
Mexico.
it has been hand animated. It looks like. It looks like I'm playing a Disney game. It's so freaking beautiful.
Much as I disliked him, Labano might be my only hope of finding Nico. Hi, Andre?
Who is this?
It's George Stobart, Nico's boyfriend.
Don't you mean ex-boyfriend?
Look, I didn't call you just to pick a fight. I need to talk to you about Nico.
Can't you accept she's just not interested in you?
Listen, Andre, we need to talk. Nico's life depends on it.
Okay. You remember the cafe at Montfaucon?
Sure. Andre? You better show, you creep. I felt an irrational urge to wipe my ear.
I like that comment a lot. This game has a lot of interesting comics. Like for example, another one. When he picked up this dart, he said, "This thing is sharper than a mosquito's business end." But I want to ask a question. Was that guy impolite in how he just said, "Do you know where this cafe is?" And as soon as this character replies yes, he just hangs up. I'm clueless. We're in Paris. Is that a cultural thing about Paris, or is that just that he's impolite as a person? I personally think I like it. I think it's cool. That's what I think about it. Okay, I think it's really just business-like. Hey, no time to discuss. No time to be. No time for whatever. No time for technicalities or whatever that word is. There's a word there. I can't think of it. Just this is where it's at. Bye. But he kind of did it in a little douchey way, so I can't say I like him. But I don't think hanging up like that is anything bad. I think you should be able to hang up like that, even on your mom. Doesn't matter. Here's something that I want to talk about concerning item management and how items are implemented in the storyline. How you have to collect them, how by collecting them the storyline can progress. Right now I want to leave, right? I know I have an appointment to meet this dude. I'm going to try to leave, and let's see what he says.
The door was locked. I didn't fancy my chances of kicking this door down.
Oh, I need to find a key. Okay, let's go find this key. Let's see what happens as I try to find this key. Okay, I think the key might be in this writing bureau.
Inside, I found a bottle of tequila.
Nope, definitely not in there. Okay, I found the key. It's
The
inside.
pot contained a key.
It's inside this pot. Now I'm going to try to leave. Huh.
There was no sign of lavender.
Interesting.
I decided to order a coffee and wait for it.
Here's what's up. There is another item in that room that I know of that I did not pick up when I left the house, and I was curious to see if the game would give me a hint as to this item's whereabouts before I left, or even possibly not allow me to leave the house until I get it. So maybe he'd open the door and say, "Oh, I feel like I'm missing something." Because here's what happens when you leave a scene without an item. When it comes time for you to need to use that item, you are now officially on a pixel treasure hunt. But in this case, since it's not too pixelated, you're on just a regular treasure hunt for the right item. That can get frustrating because there is zero. Guy just freaking gulped down an entire glass of wine in one gulp. Anyways, there's zero skill in it. It's just seeing the item or what? The waiter just came out and poured that guy a glass of wine, and that guy just barely poured himself some more wine from a different bottle. Maybe that's a bottle of oh, I think that's a hard liquor bottle. That's like a oh, that's funny. That's very funny. He got some wine. He left a little bit, and then he filled the rest up with his own liquor that he brought from home. That's really funny. No, but then, anyways, it's not that hard to. I mean, it's just annoying to try to find items because they're just hidden. And it's just about going to every scene and combing the site with your mouse and seeing what pops up. After a while, it's not fun. So that would have been really interesting if this game could have somehow implemented some type of system where if you leave a scene without picking up every necessary item, somehow it's communicated to you that there's still some stuff to do here, so that you aren't. It's not like so that 10 minutes later you're not left upstream without a paddle. You just. It saves time and it saves frustration. That's what I'm trying to say. By the way, the item that he missed is in that tequila bottle that I showed you, that you saw. When you drink from it, you spit out a worm, and then you pick up that worm, and that's the item. But you're basically carrying around a worm. But I heard that worms in tequila, that's a myth. That they don't put worms in tequila. And the people that do put worms in tequila are only doing it because to play on that myth that there is no need to have a worm in tequila. Really interesting.